Hi, and welcome to this training video. You have recently answered 24 questions online, and you and I will soon have a feedback meeting. Let me tell you a little bit about extended DISC model. It is a tool for observing and analyzing behavior and communication styles. It does not analyze personalities, values, skills, or experiences. It does not classify people. It does not give high or low points, and it does not measure intelligence or professional skills. All styles have their strengths, and just as when there are strengths, there are also possibilities of improvement. This is a tool, and it will help you increase your personal ability to develop yourself and the people around you. The most successful people have insight into their behaviors and their communication. They change their styles appropriately and adapt it to different people and situations. I will therefore ask you to have an open mind and be curious during this presentation. Let me tell you a little bit about the method. It is a simplification of the reality, and therefore it has its pros and cons. The pros, it is easier to understand. It would be very difficult to focus on 160 different behaviors and communication styles. And of course, the disadvantages are that since it is a simplification, it has its limitations. This is something you just need to bear in mind. It is an excellent tool to get understanding of yourself and those around you. As I said, it analyzes 160 different styles. Its validation is monitored since 1994 and measured by Cronbach's alpha, which is a mathematical coefficient and the most common score test safety coefficient. It's based on theories developed in the early 20th century by the behavioral scientist Carl Jung. Its proven experience strengthens its validity, and it's based on self-assessment. Let's stay a little while here. You might think that because it is a self-assessment, that the answers are a result on how the questions were asked. If we would take into account both the natural and the adaptive style, each person gets their own results, which are different from anyone else's. You may now be thinking something like, does this mean that the method cannot be fooled? I would like to ask you to reflect on this. Is there anything in life that cannot be fooled? So the simplest answer is yes, of course, this method can be fooled if the intention is to do so. On the other hand, if you have answered honestly and followed the instructions, then the result you will get is completely valid. What's the most interesting and valuable thing for you during a feedback meeting is what kind of thoughts, reflections, and feelings do you get? And how can you use this to develop within your organization and at a personal level? Successful leaders use all styles within the DISC model. There is no style to be preferred when it comes to leadership. From a leadership point of view, it's best to use the advantages of the styles you naturally use and complement them with the styles that might not come to you so naturally, but that with training you can also master when you need to. All styles have their strengths, and when overused, can have unwanted consequences. Being a good leader has to do with knowing yourself and others, understanding yourself and others, and knowing when and how to adapt. This does not mean that you always need to adapt, but I'm sure you realize the value of understanding what kind of person you are communicating, collaborating, or working with at each specific situation, so that you can best reach her or him. Let me show you the 4 different styles in DISC. As I mentioned, there are 160 styles that DISC is analyzing, but we're going to focus now, just to make things easier, in a theoretical way, only in 4 styles. For now, we're going to call them by their colors: red, yellow, green, and blue. They have names, and you will soon be introduced to them. So these 2 upper behaviors or communication styles are more related to thinking, while these 2 down here are more related to feeling. The ones to the right, the red and the yellow, are more related to intuition. That is, when we make the decisions, communicate, or behave, we're doing it from the inside out. While these two behaviors are, on the other hand, sensing the environment and are taking their decisions mostly based on the outside in. This style is called the D style, dominance. Please don't put any kind of chart into the words you will be hearing. They are just words. I style, influence, S style, steadiness, and C style, consciousness. As you see in this picture, there are combinations of styles. You see it now with the colors, and you're going to see it further on during this presentation. At different moments of this training video, I will ask you to pause the video and do some exercises. You can as well pause the video whenever you want. Well, let me give you some tips on how to identify these behaviors in a simplified way. Let's start with the D style, and between you and I, we will call it the winner. These styles are motivated by winning, competition, and success. They prioritize taking action, accepting challenges, and achieving results, and are often described as direct and demanding, strong-willed, driven, and determined. These styles tend to be outspoken, but can be rather skeptical and questioning of others. This style values competency, action, concrete results, personal freedom, and challenges. When this style is overused, it goes into a mentality of needing to win, resulting sometimes in win-lose situations. It influences others by assertiveness, insistence, and competition. When in conflict, this style speaks more about problems and looks to even the score. What this style could improve is patience and empathy. Please have in mind now that I'm giving you the styles in theory, how they would be if you only saw the D style, if 100% of the D style was present. In reality, D style is never present by itself. Usually it's accompanied of other styles in more or less degree. I will now please ask you to pause the video and reflect. Who do you know in your environment that you identify using the D style? Can you identify which situations the D style comes forth? I will also like to reflect on yourself. Do you see yourself using the D styles in certain situations or with certain people? With whom, in that case, or in which situations? And what is it that you are getting out? What is the outcome that you're getting out of using this style, if you use it at all? Let's now talk about the I style, and between you and I, we can call it the enthusiastic. I styles are motivated by social recognition, group activities, and relationships. They prioritize taking action, collaboration, and expressing enthusiasm, and are often described as warm, trusting, optimistic, magnetic, enthusiastic, and convincing. They value coaching and counseling, freedom of expression, and democratic relationships. When this style is overused, they tend to be over-optimistic and wish to have praise. They influence others by charm, optimism, and energy. When in conflict, this style expresses the feelings very openly and can, in certain situations, go to gossip. It could improve effectiveness through being more objective and following through. Once again, I will please ask you to pause this training video and reflect on who you know in your environment that uses this style and in which situations. I will as well ask you to reflect on yourself. When do you see yourself using this style? With whom and what situations? And what outcome do you get from using this style? Let's now move forward to the S style. And between you and I, we will call it the peacemaker. S styles are motivated by cooperation, opportunities to help, and sincere appreciation. They prioritize giving support, collaborating, and maintaining stability, and are often described as calm, patient, predictable, deliberate, stable, and consistent. They value loyalty, helping others, and security. When this style is overused, it becomes maybe too modest. You can see a passive resistance and tends to compromise. It influences others by accommodation, consistent performance. When in conflict, this style listens to others' perspectives, but keeps their own needs, feelings, and thoughts to themselves. They could improve effectiveness through displaying more self-confidence and revealing their true feelings and thoughts. Once again, please pause this video and reflect who in your environment you see using this style and in which situations. Reflect as well if you use this style at all, with whom and when, and what kind of outcome do you get? Let's move forward to the fourth style we will be looking at today, the C style. And between you and I, we're going to call it the analyst. C styles are motivated by opportunities to gain knowledge, show their expertise, and produce quality work. They prioritize ensuring accuracy, maintaining stability, and challenging assumptions. They are often described as careful, analytical, systematic, diplomatic, accurate, and tactful. They value, as you can see, quality and accuracy. When it's overused, it tends to overanalyze and restraint. It influences others by logic and exacting standards, and probably many details. In conflict, it focuses on logic and objectivity. It overpowers with facts. It could improve effectiveness through acknowledging others' feelings and thoughts, looking beyond the data. Once again, please stop this video and reflect who in your surrounding that you see using this style and in which situations. Reflect on yourself as well. Do you see yourself using this style with certain people or in certain situations? Now you've had the chance to reflect for a while. I will please ask you to pause again and reflect now. Which styles do you find the most challenging to work with or communicate with? And why? I would like to give you some tips on how to distinguish the different communication styles at a glance. Of course, this is a simplified way, so be careful when you use it until you are mastering the different styles. But in an oversimplified way, we could say that this style speaks quite quickly, looks into the eyes quite intensely, and has a direct verbal language with strong gestures. I'm not going to do that. Stop. I style speaks also quickly, but looks instead around, doesn't want to miss anything that's happening in the surrounding, has an active body language and uses the arms very much. S style speaks slowly, looks down at the floor during the conversation, and has a relaxed verbal language. C style speaks also slowly, but looks to you in the eyes, has a reflective verbal language. So how do these different styles like to be treated? D style likes to talk about him or herself without being interrupted, likes clarity and speed, and getting a valuable contribution. Everything that they don't believe to be valuable at the time, they will not listen to. I style likes to have focus and preeminence and be in the center, getting recognition, likes to be convinced with creativity. Don't talk about problems with I style. They only see possibilities. S style likes to get help without being disturbed or pushed. They want to feel that they're being listened to in a genuine way and feel there is a commitment. They like to get options presented, but without feeling the pressure. They need time, and then they appreciate when they are given that time. C style likes structure and information. Good time management. If you tell them the meeting is going to start and finish at a certain time, they will be expecting that to happen. And they don't want pressure. As you see, They are excellent leaders in all the styles. Being a good leader is not about which style is your natural style. It's more about identifying and being aware that you have a natural style or styles, and those are your strengths. You can use all the styles. The other styles will probably take more effort, and you will need to do it in a more conscious way. So the more you know about which styles that are strong for you and which styles that you could learn more about, the better you will become as a leader, because you will be mastering a broader set of communication skills and behavioral styles. When you and I meet for the feedback meeting, I will be showing you a graph, something like this. You're going to see that there's 1, 2, or up to 3 styles above this midline. Those will be your natural styles. That is the styles that you use without even thinking about it. They don't take energy. They come naturally. And in situations of stress, they will probably be the first styles that you use. The style or styles below the midline are those styles that you also use, but they require more energy and a more conscious effort. You will be seeing some numbers. Those numbers will give you an appreciation of how much of each style that you have as natural styles on the upper line, and the adaptive styles, those styles that you can use but that don't come naturally. You will be seeing 2 of these graphs. One that will be showing the way you naturally have your styles, and the other one, how you adapt your styles to your job. Of course, since you were asked to think about a specific situation when you were answering the questions online, the adaptive styles will be more related to your current job and probably more related to that situation you had in mind. But I'm sure you will be able to recognize these behaviors in other job situations. Please bear in mind that we talk about having styles or using styles. We don't talk about being styles. So we don't say that people are this or that. We're not qualifying people. We're not putting them into categories. We're just talking about styles. And we all use all the styles all the time. This is more about getting insight on how much effort it takes us to use the different styles. You will also see your styles in a diamond form. I would like you to imagine yourself the form of a diamond, and then you turn it upside down from the tip and look from the tip into the diamond, into the surface. So this is what you are seeing here. In this example, you can see that this person has the natural style here in the S style. You see the 4 quadrants. We were looking at 4 styles before. In each quadrant, there are 10 different combinations of styles. So when you see the diamond, you're able to see a combination of 40 styles for yourself. That will give you a more balanced picture on the styles you are using. The styles that are dark gray are styles that you're using and don't take much energy. The light gray styles are style combinations of styles that you're still using and be taking just a little bit of energy, but really not much. On the other hand, the areas where you see white, those are styles that you're probably using, but they are taking energy and they demand a conscious using of them. You can see as well an arrow. It has its starts in your natural behavior. And where the arrow points will be telling you what kind of adaptation you're doing at work. In this case, this person is going from a natural behavior that comes naturally and where this person has its strengths to a behavior in a white area, a behavior that demands energy and doesn't come naturally. There's nothing good or bad with that. Everything has an explanation. The most important thing when you and I meet is that you reflect on how does the arrow, in what direction does it move, and how long is it? The longer the arrow, the more adaptation you're doing, the more effort it takes. What will be interesting for you, as I say, is to understand what kind of adaptation you're doing and why. Let me show you this picture as well. As you see, this person has the strong behavior in green, but it's not only the S style. If you look here, this person has both S, C, and I styles. This is related to the first graph that I showed you. Remember, this person, when adapting at work, is going over here. and is therefore losing the C style, which this person has naturally as a strength. There is an explanation for this. When you and I meet, we're going to look deeper into that. I hope that this training video has given you the possibility to get insights and reflections, and that you have learned a little bit more about the way we normally communicate. I look forward to meeting you soon and having a deep conversation about your profile.